Alright, I'm back. Got a piece of Georgetown here. I'm going to try this one more time because I have already broke a couple of them. And I'm just not feeling it, and I should just quit, but trying to get some videos in reserve here. So we'll see what happens. If this one breaks, then I'm done for the rest of the day. And you won't know it anyways, but unless I talk about in the next one all the stuff I broke. I would love to get from point A to point B without a ton of chaos. Which would be unusual for me. Even more so here lately. And I think that's just because I just had so much going on and am in a hurry and trying to do too many things. And let's see. I've got an island starting here. I am not sure that that'll travel that, but I really needed to try to travel it. If I can knock that off, but I don't know if this is the flake to do it. Traveled across it. That trimmed up a great deal of it. I need to try to avoid these dipping flakes. I think that's just hitting it too hard. I don't want them taking these chunks out, because that's what's broke the last couple, is taking two great big chunk out in the middle before the ends were thin. I just want them to come off in thin layers, if at all possible. You don't want all this crap to fix that I've always have to fix. So. All right. So I got this thing here that's this big nasty. I need to try to blend in. That flake right there helped a lot. Is that how that was? How was that? Like that maybe? Yeah. So you can see how big that was, and that took that out. That went a long ways to blending that in. I think I've just been getting in such a hurry that not thinking anything through, which sometimes is a good strategy, but just doing it instinctively. And I may need to take more time and do some more regularizing and things like that in order to improve and save size. I know I need to slow down. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Got it. Step fracture. Probably shouldn't flint knap when you're already starting out a little frustrated. And I'm not frustrated with napping, I'm just a little tired, I guess. So it's probably the wrong frame of mind to start with. I hope I don't break this. Okay. I got rid of some of it. I was afraid that dipped in too much, and it almost did. She is getting kind of thin, thinner in some places than others. We're going to work on that. I've been wanting to make a pretty big Hardin, but honestly, having a hard time maintaining size, so I'll be taking several days off of napping. I think my brain needs it, and which I just had several days off. But it isn't just the napping, it's the working in the shop and the animals and all the rest of the stuff that's got going on, that not enough time for all of it. And leather shop's got to be priority at the moment. Still got that step, which I just picked part of it out, so maybe I can pick it off. That'd be helpful when I'm coming back trying to clean it up. There it went. I actually picked it off and it ran the flake rest the way in. I just left that little part right there. I'll have to get something to get underneath that. I have my braces on. I've gotten so frustrated with those things. I'm wearing them every night. Hoping that's... And I'm wearing them in the leather shop too. Quite a bit. But that just took a bite out of it that I didn't want to take out of it. So I think I'm gonna do some pressure flaking. I've got lots of point there, so it ain't gonna hurt nothing. Pressure flake it and try to run some thinning flakes in and thin that base with some pressure and all that good stuff. Just gonna work on that for a while. I said I broke a couple of them and I'm not looking to break another one if I can avoid it. That's awfully thick still at the base. Flakes are running pretty good, so maybe I gotta turn my heat treat down just a little bit. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. I should have paused you, I guess, and I didn't do that. Well, after how bad that Flint Ridge video was, that can't be too bad. Something to... This is my gauge here, so I was going for 385, and we're 385 on the outside, but we're 389 in the middle, which is actually pretty close. But that continues to ramp up, so when you get close you kind of have to dial your turkey roaster back so you don't go over what you're wanting to go. And I'm wanting to be right around 385, and that's pretty close, and I just dialed it back, so it'll be fun. I can take this thing in the shop with me, and that way I can keep an eye on it in the shop. I ain't got to keep running back out to check on it. Because it is real easy to get occupied and let that get away on you, and then you got a bucket full of junk. I'm liable to just run a bunch of pressure flakes and notch it and call this one good. That's where I'm at with this right now. Yeah, that Flint Ridge video should have been one of my better videos. Well, I have one I'm going to start releasing tomorrow, which is it's another series, kind of like the leather one is, and I believe it's 3 parts. If you're watching this, you might have already seen it. If you're watching all my videos, then yeah, you would have already seen it. I don't know if there's very many of you out there that's watching all my videos or not, but I can tell you, I think I looked and we got 60 something subscribers, something like that. So we're picking up a few every day. Which is kind of cool. And all of you that's watching that subscribe, man, I appreciate that. I really do. And to my subscribers, I mentioned in other videos, we are going to have a giveaway. But you need to be a subscriber to win. If you're watching and not committing to subscribe, well, then you won't be able to win the giveaway. And it's going to be something cool, you know. This ain't going to be just some cheesy, here's one of my worst points. Or here's some scrap leather. I've said before, there's going to be several things to choose from, and you'll be able to choose any of those prizes. But instead of any one particular leather item, I think I may do a gift certificate that's basically the equal value of whatever the rock stuff would be. We don't have anything to give away as far as the bee stuff goes. I'm not an equipment provider. None of that stuff I make, so none of the prizes will probably be bee related. Of course, I don't have enough bee videos yet to have too many bee people watching anyways. I suppose they're mostly people that just are flint nappers or leather workers, one or the other. Oops. I didn't mean to smack that in my head again. I'm really not sure how I had this thing set up differently before, where I wasn't hitting it with my head. But, I mean, I could put the camera up higher. That's a possibility. But then I can't look up and see where I'm focused at. So I wasn't having a problem with it, but I'm having a little bit of a problem now. Alright, come on. Come on. Alright, that, I don't know if you guys were able to see that, but there was a big chunk on that tip. And that flake right there just thinned it out a lot. And if I sharpen this, I'll probably get it thin out some more. This Georgetown really does pressure flake pretty nice, you know. I mean, it's obviously not obsidian, but it pressure flakes pretty doggone nice. Well, if you can get a hold of it, it does. Nice sending them big old flakes across there. Okay, so we got some organization going to the piece. I still have time to screw that all up. I do need to take some flakes across here to blend this in. One across here. This doggone little hinge right there. Those little fingernail kind of hinges, you know, drive me nuts. Eventually I'll manage to get through those. Alright, so okay, that blended it in some. Let's try and I don't want to get too carried away here and mess it all up. That wasn't what I had in mind. I went to bed a little harder than I wanted. Okay, I got it too thin in the middle already for what I wanted to do. I had pretty consistent thickness all the way across, and one gouging flake really kind of goofed that up a little bit. So try and clean that up. That flake there helped a lot. Honestly, I didn't really want it this thin. The whole point, other than the base, is thinner than I wanted it to be. I'm going to come right across here and try to... That didn't work. Alright, I'm going to come across right here. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to come across there. helped blend it a lot, but it also threw this dumb hinge. I'll probably be able to pop that off there without too much trouble. Alright, that got rid of a whole bunch of that mass on the base. Now the tip is thicker than I want it, but I think I'm going to try and get it with pressure. Yeah, I'm going to go back to pressure. I really don't want to break this one. So not that I break too many with indirect, but I did today twice. So let's try to avoid that if at all possible. Alright, that popped that off there. And then I can probably pop most of that mess off in the middle too. And I did. I got rid of most of that. So we're going to go back to the Ishii stick. It's late in the day. I'm tired. Wore out. Been doing a lot of napping, and it's a lot easier. Ishii stick is a lot easier than the hand flaker. So I don't know. Let's see if we zoom this in. I always like it when I'm watching the guys I'm watching, if they zoom in when they're pressure flaking. Somehow weird way it makes the pressure flaking seem not as boring. And I like to be able to see what they're pushing off of when I can. And all I'm doing is regularizing the edge a little bit again. I see a lot of guys that go through the whole thing and they don't really do any regularizing. What they do with their bopper or what have you. So, but that's not me, not yet anyhow. May not ever be. That just may never be my style. I don't know. This pad's a little bit stiffer. Not much, but still has a little bit of rubber left, so it makes it just a little bit stiffer. That other one, this pad's wore clean through, so I could actually glue a piece of wood to the back, which would help it, or another layer of leather will stiffen it up at least for a while. Hope I'm in frame. Alrighty. Stupid hinge fractures. You see that point right there in that ridge? At least I hope you can see that. If I can get a flake to come off of it. Oh, come on. Do I need to sharpen my ishy stick again. See, it ran right down that. I still got some chitter chatter right there. It's candidate for another indirect strike. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sharpen this dude again, I guess. Run that one up that way. Come on, baby. All right, that came in there and cleaned that mess off. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Theoretically, I should be able to do all that with indirect, and normally that might be an option, but today for some reason it's not. And it's actually been a little while since I broke any, especially 2 in a row. So and I broke them both with indirect. Alright, we got a little bit of thickness right there, but other than that, I'm actually fairly happy with that side at this point in the game. Let's sharpen this and okay. I still got a little spot right there. Eventually maybe I can get to it. Or maybe, let me back you out. Hopefully this ain't a bad idea. That's not something I want to leave in the point. So boom, she gone. I took out a bunch of that thickness. There's still a little bit right there though, and a little bitty. Little bitty hinge kind of thing right there. I picked most of it off. Okay. That's not terrible. All right. Okay. So sharpen this one more time. Yeah, see, we turned that down so our temperature is dropping. We're actually at 385 in the center now. It's a little hotter over at this end. So that varies, but sometimes it can be off quite a bit. This turkey roaster seems to be doing better, and it's not actually, this is a new one, and it's not getting nearly as hot as my other ones. So that's both good and bad, because sometimes I need more heat than a turkey roaster is supposed to go to. So this point isn't as thin as I have been making them, which I'm okay with. It probably won't be as thin as I've been making them. I'm not going to get carried away with indirect. Okay, so maybe, yep, pop that dude right off there. Awesome. It's awesome sauce right there. We're just getting this. As long as the edge is really thin, we don't have, you know, I don't want a speed bump. I don't want to feel it in the car if I ran over it, you know, but it's not looking too bad. Good enough for the girls I run with. Me and my wife, because that's the only girl I run with. All right. Other than my daughter and my granddaughter, got 3 granddaughters. And I think they could whoop any boy around. I think they're going to get tougher the younger they get. They got the youngest one boy, Emily. She's got to try and keep up with them 2 older sisters, and she can give them a run for their money. Could just leave this as a big knife blade, but I believe we're going to make a hardened, or attempt to. I was looking at the Hardins, and since I've been having such a hard time here lately, usually I can make really big points, but here lately I've just been struggling with that. But so I was looking at the sizes on them, and they're anywhere from I think it starts at 40 something millimeters, which is 1 3/4, 45 millimeter, if that's what I remember. I'm not a millimeter guy. I have to Google that stuff. But anyhow, they have a lot of variance in size, apparently. And blade shape can vary quite a bit. Like some of the examples I've seen were resharpened, so I think most of them were in manufacture were, I'm not even sure which color is it. Quad edged, sharpened regular, you know. Rather than beveled, which if you're not a flint napper, that would be just taking flakes off one side here and taking flakes off one side here, and it would give you a beveled edge on both sides but opposite of each other. So, and it did say some of the Hardins were beveled, but that was from resharpening. Like they don't figure they were manufactured that way. I didn't read about the flaking and all that kind of stuff. But right now we just need to that flake came up, hit me right in the forehead. Ting. If you're new at this, don't do this without safety glasses. I wear eyeglasses, so that's what I use, but just don't do it without safety glasses. I've seen some people doing that, and it's just not worth losing an eyeball. Just isn't. You're not the cool kid just because you don't use safety glasses. In fact, it won't be long and you'll be the cool kid with the eye patch. So just don't do it. It isn't worth it. Especially indirect and pressure like this, because the flakes bounce off of the pad and come right back at you. So that should be something that don't even have to be said, but that's like putting warning labels on a mattress. But some people need them. Like in a pill bottle, alright? and get peels, and it's got that little thing in it for absorbing moisture, and it says don't eat this. Really? I mean, I can't eat this hard little piece of plastic. Some of the things you see warning labels on these days are ridiculous. I put them on there because it's product liability, and is a real deal. And there really is people out there that, you know, are definitely not geniuses. Which I'm not either, but I know not to eat the Tide Pods. Dang it, that little edge right there is weak. And it's coming apart on me. I don't know if I installed a bad spot in it or what, but I need to get ahead of that before it gets any worse. I lose the whole end of my blade. Alright. That fixed it. That flake ran up and hit the ceiling about 9 feet high and 8 feet away, so there you go. There's the thing with the eyeglasses. They just go bouncing off that pad, and alright. So our edge is relatively thin. We're not real symmetrical. Okay, this tip's got to come over. I like where we're at. Mostly because it's steel in one piece. Woo! Won't be if I do that much. Happy with anything that stays in one piece right now. Alrighty. So we scrunched the edge, so we have to come back through here. I'm actually gonna maybe switch to try the smaller cover. I don't know how long this video's been running here. We're getting up close to an hour, I think. hydrate. All right. I've got to build a pin holder for my wife. She collects pins. Well, she has a collection of pins. I don't know if, I guess she could be called a pin collector. She works in the field that she works in. She's got to she writes all day long, making notes and different things, and so she likes to have custom pins. And when she has people, she does a lot of training for the company she works for, and they send their interns to her to train from all over the region. And these interns are still in school, obviously, and she always has them pins. Every one of them has them a pin, custom pin built when they graduate, and gives them a little book, like one of the moleskin books, or I don't know, some sort of little notebook thing, and she has me make a leather case for it. So she goes all out. It's kind of a congratulations, welcome to the field. I don't know, just guessing. I never really asked her. I just know she likes doing it. And she just had pins made for all of her pharmacists that's under her, and all of her technicians. So she just had a whole bunch of them made, and I even got one out of this batch. One problem with that, I don't hardly ever write anything. Or I try to avoid it if I can. Alright, so we're starting to look pretty good here. Zoom in a little bit. Just throwing some flakes in there and thinning the edge again. All right. I better put that right hand glove on. I can't be getting any cuts before the surgery. They said they would cancel my surgery if I've got a bunch of open cuts. They basically said any open cut, but I've got some on me that's got a few weeks to heal up and be done with, so can't be having any new ones. So it's either quit napping or wear 2 gloves. And I don't normally like to have one in my right hand, but this hand and this finger here is what really gets cut up mostly these days. Gonna pick these deltas off. That is all I'm doing, is just picking deltas off. It does have a hinge right here. To knock most of it down, but I've been trying to speed things along in these other videos so the videos didn't run as long. But if people tune out because they run too long, that's fine. I mean, a flintknapping video is already going to be long no matter what you do. Unless it's one of these challenge videos where you nap a point in 20 minutes, but if I did one in 20 minutes, it would really be rough. I think I'm going to leave that. Alright, so I'm going to have to clean my glasses. But I've got a light right here, so I'll have to dig deep in my pocket. I've got some real long pieces of vaculite, and be a good candidate for a great big hardened. Pretty cool. So let's look at this. You wouldn't think this bass would be all that difficult. Maybe it's not. I've done a few hardens, but not a lot. So I still got to pick away at the edge some, but maybe come in way up here like this, and got to have a expanding stem like that. I don't know, something like this. And then some of them have a base that's down like this. I see some of them that kind of curve up like this here. If you guys can even see that. And I kind of like the looks of that base. So I don't know if we can get, if I can get them to get some symmetry to it. I definitely struggle with symmetry. just like any other notching, I'm trying to throw some pop outs in there so that I end up with a big mess. Yeah, buddy. All right. So I don't. Let's see here. I'll tell you what, that's a good way to hurt yourself. Find my other pad here. Okay. So. It's pretty thick up in there, but that's supposed to go up in there. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to go up in there. Because it is a little thick. Now we got one ear on it a little bit, so got a couple pop outs. create another one. I think I need to extend this out. If I can, maybe bend over, I'm not sure. That's the only way I'm probably going to be able to get in there. Extend that dude out there. May end up shortening this stem some. After I started doing this, it started looking a bit long. Yeah, our stem's looking pretty long. Some of them stems that are in that book are pretty long, but I don't know about this long. Come on now. That's apparently the end of my popping out. That is stalled out as stalled out can get, and I hate stalled out notches. And this is take some of that stem out. I don't like how long that is. I hate to completely drop the ball right at the end here, but I stalled those notches out. If I had an indirect stick set up that I could get in there, I could probably take a indirect strike, but running some flakes in here to thin out that base some. Okay. Well, I got a pop out right there. It kind of took out a chunk. Which is not ideal, but I'm not sure why it did that, but it did. Okay, we got that one running up in there. But can we get that to break loose at all? I'm not even sure how I got that one to go. I think it was just a bad spot in the rock, and it broke out kind of funky, you know. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get a hold of on this side. Try something drastic here. I don't even know what that even is, but something. I know I'd like to finish this. My wife just pulled up. She just got home, so I'd like to be done for the evening also. I can't even get that to catch on anything. Whew, okay. Seen the little piece come off there. It took a little pop out there, so I get it. Pop out. Just didn't happen. That's a lot of grinding with the, there's thick in there, so it's a lot of grinding. With a file too. This could take a while. May end up coming back later to finish this. At this point, I'm getting pretty frustrated. One with doing the Hardin type bottom, because they're going to be down and dirty and easy. I have to grind on that thing a week to get it thin enough to get it to let loose, probably. Yep. At least a week. I'm going to try something different and I'll be right back. Well, I had some diamond drill bits and I'm not sure what has happened to them. They were diamond bits and that I used in a Dremel for a project, and I don't know what happened to them. I left my pad over there too. Because if you're going to cheat, you might as well just cheat all the way, right? I did grind around on it a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to do anything. Nope. Well, I don't know what to do with that. I'm going to be completely honest. I have no idea how to, without a tremendous amount of grinding. Usually I can get a hold of something. And get it to pop loose, but I am having zero luck with that. I ain't seen it since I finished that project. Oh, I got a pop out. What do you know? Finally did it. All right. Whew. Whew, I about gave up, honestly. Those are about the right depth, so I am going to just clean these things up, and we're going to call this good because that was ridiculously long. If any of you stuck with me, thanks. Appreciate you sticking through to the end. Of course, I need this one to go just a hair deeper. And it did. I still don't even have the edges completed. I will go about this. I purposely left this point thicker, and that came back to bite me right in the butt. For sure, it did. I still don't like the way that stem looks. And it don't look right because these edges aren't regular, but I'm starting to get too narrow. On my stem. So that looks a little better. Although the stem still looks entirely too long. I think. Well, some of those are pretty long. Honestly, I'm just ready to be done with this point. I went into it being tired to begin with, and that was never a good way to go into it. I wasn't all that enthusiastic. So, I'm sorry about that. I'm hitting things. I don't even know how much of this I've even been in frame. that base all right. It's not symmetrical. I still have to try to symmetricize it a little bit. It's not too far off. Flip my glasses up for just a second because I can't see out them because they're all smeared up from sweat. And first thing that happens is a flake jumps up right in my eye. I just told everyone not to do this without glasses on. So, okay. For the one person that's still with me, there may not even be one of you left, I don't know. We're going to pretend like there is and continue on here. Yeah, I don't know for sure. Yeah, we're way over an hour. Whew, I don't know what happened there, but I said I was going to slow down, and I did. I ended up with some size to my point by slowing down. But I may have to start doing these in 2 parts if I'm going to do that. That kind of drives me nuts. When I'm watching flintknapping videos, and I watch all the same guys that a bunch of you probably watch. Of course, I'm in the shop with the TV on or the radio all day long, so I know not everyone can do that. But I watch videos all the way to the end. Something that really interests me and had a lot of information in it, then I'll watch it again later. All the way to the end. I know statistically it says that people cut out after 5 minutes. People don't have any attention span anymore, and I'm guilty of the same thing. But I do like to watch my flintknapping videos and other videos I watch. I mostly just watch flintknapping and stuff about history stuff and things like that. It's mostly what I watch on YouTube. That's what I'm into. I watch bee stuff. I haven't watched much bee stuff here lately. I used to do some bee removals. I've kind of give up on that because they're always happening in summertime and it is just too hot. I heat stroked out twice last year and was sick for, I call it heat stroke, I don't know if it was or not, but I was sick for several days afterwards and just wasn't worth it. Paid pretty good to do those jobs. They don't all pay something. Bee removals don't all pay something. I guess I could if you just said I'm not doing it unless I'm getting paid, then they would. But anyways, Some of the ones I did were free, some of them were paid gigs that paid pretty good. I bought all the equipment when I got into bees for doing bee removals and went right into it. I have a tendency of jumping into things with both feet. Doesn't matter what it is. And that's what happened with the flint napping. I haven't been flint napping that long. I started in November last year, and it's like August 1st of this year, so less than a year. And but I've actually been flint napping. Some of you are probably saying, yeah, and it shows. Anyways. So we ground this base. That looks pretty good. I mean, you could take that little piece out right there. Just putting a very fine as possible serrated type shark's tooth kind of edge on there. Because that's the edge that I like. And I like to do what I like. So is it perfectly symmetrical? No, probably not. Do I care at this point? No, probably not. All right. So there is our Hardin point, or as close as it's going to get. I'll pick those off later. Let's see. It's the right size for that one, but you can see some of these have a little dip there. Some have straighter sides. That might be a little, well, I guess that's the only Hardins. Should have found a better page of Hardins. I'll spend half the night in here looking for a better page of Hardins. There's a Thebes. We're going to do a Thebes before long here too. Lost Lakes. Hardin. Here's some Hardins, and you can see, you know, some has been resharpened. Some of them are kind of straight-sided. But here's some Hardins that are, look how little these dudes are. And it almost looks more like a Thebes than a Hardin. So there's some variation with them. A lot. And it depends on where they're at in their life cycle too, whether or not they were, there's a kind of a smaller version. But it's almost exactly the same size as that one. Maybe next time we'll try and do a wide Hardin. So So this piece is, you guys are probably like, shut up and turn the video off. Four and an eighth, 4 1/4 down to that barb, 1.5 inch wide, lenticular, not as thin as some of my points, but it's still pretty thin. And there it is. All right, if you stuck through this whole thing, thank you. My hat's off to you. Appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button, and remember, yeah, hit that like and subscribe button, and check out that leatherwork video. And I'm going to doctor up this one ear right here some. I'm going to doctor that up off camera, and we'll pick these little things out off camera and